I'm so excited to be here with you all today. This is a big moment for Boston. We are gathering on what would have been Mrs. King's 95th birthday. We are here to celebrate the next chapter in our city through the Embrace Memorial. The Embrace was created to honor the legacy of Coretta Scott King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and their time and work here together in Boston and beyond. Over the last couple of years, we understood that King Boston needed to meet the moment. It was an opportunity to bring us all together, to survive a global pandemic, to continue the fight for justice, and to combat the economic disparities that have historically plagued communities of color in Boston and throughout the Commonwealth. The Embrace represents not only the legacy of the Kings, but the local giants whose shoulders we stand upon today, who made it possible for Mayor Wu or U.S. State's Attorney Rachel Rollins, right here in the front. Clap it up. This moment represents the power of all of us, and is part of a vision to create a radically and equitable and inclusive Boston by 2030, the city's 400th birthday. We thank our community partners for joining us. We thank you all for believing in our shared vision. We know that the Embrace will stand tall as our collective symbol of love, equity, inclusion, belonging, and justice. It is a blessing to be with you here all today. Thank you for coming to be a part of this historic moment. Before I go any further, it is my pleasure to introduce one of the founders of King Boston, co-chair and WBZ pioneering anchor extraordinaire, and my beloved adopted mother, the Reverend Liz Walker.
Good afternoon, everybody. That's my boy, and I'm proud. I am only going to be up for a second just to say to you, Paul, 2017, I think, is when Paul English called me, and we started this part of the journey that's been on for a long time. And to be here now, I am sure I'm going to lose it before it's over, because this is an extraordinary moment. Thank you, Paul, for starting this whole thing. Whenever you see me, you know we're getting ready to pray, okay? I don't care where you see me, on the bus or walking down the street, I am about to pray. But it's an honor to stand with you on this hallowed green, the nation's oldest public park, the scene of executions, celebrations, public protest, and public challenges to the very soul of this nation. The last monument created here, I believe, was unveiled in 1897, the 54th Regiment Memorial, honoring the first volunteer all-black regiment in the Union Army. That was 125 years ago. So now we know history, and we are making history today. But it is not enough to know history. It must inspire, provoke, elevate, anger, and teach us. History must move us and change us. We are at a critical moment, as you know, in this nation's history, and as optimistic as I would like to be, none of us is certain where this country is headed. These are troubled times, but this day gives us great hope. That we will learn from and embrace the lessons from our past, and then act on them. And so I say to those of us who are privileged to stand on this hallowed ground today, because you are here, you have an even greater responsibility to do something more for freedom, justice, and love. This opening prayer is adapted from a book called Guerrillas of Grace, written by Ted Loder. Let's take a deep breath and let's pray. God of fire and freedom, thank you for this day, allowing us to stand on this hallowed ground and finally honor those who brought us so far, an honor that is long overdue. Remind us that it is never enough to simply stand. Deliver us from the bondage of smug self-congratulations and move us toward what counts, but can only be measured in bread shared, swords becoming plowshares, in bodies and minds healed and liberated, injustice done. Let it begin. Bless us on this day, every word spoken, every song sung, every thought that goes through our minds, that this is our promise to do more of our share in bringing about your kingdom of mercy, justice, and love. And let all of the people who believe in anything high and mighty say, Amen. Thank you.
We better get our time together with a land acknowledgement. We'd like to acknowledge that we are gathered together on native space and the traditional homelands of the Massachusetts tribe. The Massachusetts have been a part of the place we now call the Boston Common for thousands of years. Their lives and their legacy are part of the Common. Their stories are recorded in the ground, from the 1,000-year-old pottery sherds by the Parkman Bandstand to the 7,000-year-old spear point by the Frog Pond to the ancient fish weirs of the Back Bay. They are still here. Despite the arrival of colonists who saw this land, these resources, and these people as commodities, they are still holders and residents of Boston. I invite you to consider the legacy of colonialism and the way it has impacted people across the world and continues to impact people today. The stories lost, the memories forgotten, but also the persistence of people in the face of genocide and oppression and the fundamental humanity of all. We stand here in the oldest public park in America. It is a space for gathering and a symbol of our city. I am here as the Chief of Environment, Energy, and Open Space, but also in my capacity overseeing the Office of Historic Preservation. The work of historic preservation is about developing a shared narrative of who we are. And the truth is that some stories have been lauded and others left out. We are so glad today to celebrate the legacies of the kings and their love. And we are reminded by the words of Cornel West that justice is what love looks like in public. So welcome to this public park where we are celebrating love and justice. Not just now, but we hope you will be here together. Join us, celebrate, and create more love and more justice until it flows throughout this city, this Commonwealth, and the world. Thank you.
Thank you all. You know, I don't have to say much except thanking because there is more than an overflow of inspiration here in this room. So thank you all for being here today. And so I'm going to thank a few people every time I come, and I'm probably going to miss someone, so I'm going to ask for forgiveness right now. So I'd like to thank the King Boston team who made this day possible. We'll save our claps to the end, but maybe we can do one clap for the King Boston team. Now I'm just going to read the governor, our mayor, cabinet members, U.S. Attorneys Rachel Rollins, Attorney General Maura Healey, our senators, state senators, our representatives, the Boston City Councilor, President Marty Meehan, President Mary Grant, Paul Grogan, Lee Pelton, President Lynn Wooten, President Mark Thompson, Director Claire Ramsbottom, Chancellor Maloney, our co-chairs, Paul English, Reverend Walker, Reverend Brown, U.S. Labor Attorney Marty Walsh, Brian Northrup, and Rob Bryan from Skanska. Where you at, Brian? Where you at, Rob? There you are. The Songa team, Sammy Lablisi from Rose Law, the City of Boston, the Boston Arts Commission, Parks and Recreation, our Board of Advisors, our Art Selection Committee, the 1965 Freedom Plaza Selection Committee, the Boston Foundation, and many benefactors and partners who made this day possible. All are amazing partners and continue to amplify and uplift our work. I got a call at 8:30 this morning and someone said, "Hey, I'm here in town and I'll see you later." And I didn't know who it was. And so I said, "All right, well, I'll see you later." And they said, "It's me, Hank." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Oh, I thought you were talking to someone else." Like, "No, I'm here in town. I'm gonna see you later for real." I was like, "Why didn't you call me last night?" He's like, "I literally got here and wouldn't miss this moment for anything." And so it's my pleasure, and I'm gonna invite the entire team. I'm gonna invite Hank Willis Thomas, Michael Murphy, Jonathan Evans, Chris Govel, the entire design team, and the entire Songa team to come behind me, and Hank's gonna say a few remarks.
Wow, what an exciting day. I had no idea when we were speaking about this day how monumental it would feel. I'd love to say happy 95th birthday to Coretta Scott King. It's incredible to even imagine that on this day in this country, her mother was fulfilling a dream that we would still be manifesting. And so I wanted to take a moment to register gratitude for not only her and her parents and her ancestors, but all of our ancestors who have walked in this space with hopes and dreams for millennia, and all of the descendants who will now walk by this space and actually, because of the work that so many people have done here, reflect on the possibility of love. So if we could just take a moment to really greet them as we mark this moment in time and space. And then I especially want to say thank you to Paul English and to Marie St. Fleur, to Karen Goodfellow, to Mari, wherever you are, and all of the incredible people who greeted us when we first came here. Where there were hundreds of applications. Michael Murphy, Sam Giarratani, and Jonathan Evans. This is an amazing amalgamation of so many people's love for humanity, love for the possibility of what we can be, and what can happen when we work together. And so thank you so much for participating in this moment of civic joy with us.
We got a Celtics in the house, in case you guys didn't notice. Let's clap it up. He was trying to come in quietly, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let him come in quietly. One more round of applause, man. He needs some love going in there. Yes. Yes. It is my pleasure to bring on our next speaker, performer, artist and resident for King Boston, Amandi Music.
Good afternoon, everyone. Truly an honor to be here. It's a beautiful thing, so a change gonna come, Sam Cooke. Yes, sir. was born by the river in a little tent, and oh, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. See, I go to the movies and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. But it's been a long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up just knocking me back down on my knees. Oh, there were times when I thought that I wouldn't last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. Thank you very much.
They had asked me to sing, but I said, nah, you should let that guy, give that guy a chance. Give him a chance. Thank you, Amandi. Thank you, Amandi. I want to do some more thank yous. Barbara and Amos Hofstetter, Demond and Kia Martin, Amy and David Abrams, the Bancel Foundation, Bank of America, the Barr Foundation, Jim Canales, Baupost Group, Boston Global Investors, the Klarman Family Foundation, Beth and Kim, in particular, the Mass Mutual Foundation, the Wagner Foundation, Charlotte Wagner, the Yawkey Foundation, the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation, NBC 10 Universal Boston, the Castle Group, Chris Cook, Liz Visa, Sandy Lish, Tito Jackson, Miko Neeson, Paul Francisco, Lamerchi Frazier, Barry Gaither, Karen Goodfellow, Equa Holmes, Cher Klaus Knight, Danielle Legro. Sorry, I'm going too fast. Yes. Sorry. Sorry. Brandon Terry, Joe Feaster, Rob Manning, Allison Quirk, Mayor Janey, Senator Chang Diaz, Robert Lewis Jr., Reverend Willie Bodrick, Michael Curry. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce the founder and visionary who made this possible. And he's known for building things from scratch, and now he can count a memorial on his list. It is my pleasure to introduce my friend, Paul English.
Tough act to follow. I want to just call out a few people here today, my teachers, most importantly Reverend Liz Walker, Reverend Jeffrey Brown, and Marie St. Fleur. These three have really brought me into the different neighborhoods in Boston and taught me how to connect and listen to and communicate to other communities within the city. So I really can't thank them enough. I also want to invite up Barry Gaither. Barry is the director of the National Center for African American Artists, and he also is the co-chair, along with Karen Goodfellow, of the art committee that ran a very disciplined, long process with, I think, 130 teams who applied, which ended up with the Embrace. And so, Barry, if you could say a few words about the art that we're going to see.
Those of us who were the art committee had the unusual opportunity to look at the submissions for this, creating this moment in Boston. And we came to the Embrace, and it presented us with the great problem of how do you express love in an intimate and global sense simultaneously. The Embrace represented that distillation of gesture. It posed for us how to think about a radical love that spans the distance from Dr. King to, oh my goodness, bell hooks. So that's a wide spectrum. And within that, this monument will create a new and disruptive presence in our city. I'm reminded that when the Eiffel Tower opened, critics in Paris said it was a monstrosity, a gesture against the city. And when you think of Paris, the first thing that comes to mind is the Eiffel Tower. So I think we want to do that for Boston. So in this environment of historic conservatism, a radical new embrace of what love can mean for the 21st century and the world beyond is the opportunity that we celebrate a major step along the way towards realizing today.
Thank you, Eric. So the memorial that we're here to celebrate today is step one for a long journey that King Boston has started and going to be on for the next several years. The thing that I'm interested in particular is working on issues of racial equity, wealth equity, and for trying to figure out how we can bring more $100,000 jobs into Dorchester and Roxbury and other neighborhoods in Boston. So hold us accountable and also help us along this journey. I now want to introduce someone who's going to take the mantle forward for the city and help make this a reality, Michelle Wu, our mayor.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a deeply humbling honor to be standing here, not only as a new mayor 160 days into this new job, but a representation of the torch that has been passed, mayor after mayor after mayor, to make sure that this could happen. And I hear that both of the mayors that I'm receiving this from are here today, now Secretary Walsh, perhaps, and I see right here, sitting right here, Mayor Kim Janey, my sister in service, of course. The birthday matriarch we are celebrating today said once, "The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members." I'm someone who grew up sometimes not feeling like I belonged to any community at all, coming from an immigrant family, coming from a family where when you walked into spaces that were created to do big things like in government or in policy or sometimes even very carefully manicured spaces, there was always a feeling of, do we belong here? Is this space truly for us? What I love about this moment and what we are about to do to break ground in a season of breaking fast, in a season of reminding each and every one of us of our place of belonging rooted in the greater community, is that not only are we embracing our history, our role as a city in this partnership that changed the world forevermore between the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King, our history in creating the spaces that would get passed down generation after generation, but also our role in signifying every single day that we embrace everyone who finds their way to Boston. Whether you're rooted here 6 generations deep, whether you just came to this country, whether you're here for school, planting your feet on the ground, this is a city that is a city for everyone. We're a city that will take on the legacy that Dr. King and Ms. Coretta Scott King fought for, waging war against injustice and racism in all its forms, in every corner, but also doing so from a place of love. And so together we embrace our capacity for collaboration and innovation here in Boston, our capacity to create and make history every single day, and we embrace the possibility for our future when we truly bring everyone into our community. So thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here with you all.
Thank you, Marie. It's my pleasure to introduce my great friend and our governor, Charlie Baker.
So, Mari, I got to tell you, that was like one of the most riveting introductions I've ever had. I really wish
thought
my
the mayor
mom
was
was
going to do
still
it.
alive to
They're
hear
like,
that.
Mari. No, they said, Mari, you got to get up there. I was like, the mayor just walked off. I was like, Mayor, woo. I love you, Governor.
I know. So first of all, I was thinking about those 125 some odd years that, was it 125, Reverend? As one of the people who was involved in the process of getting the licenses and the permits and the permissions and all of the paperwork process that was necessary to make this happen, I think I know why it's been 125 years. This is a tough place to get something cited, and I can't think of a better way to break the dam than with this particular message that this embrace will send. And I just have to say that having sat down with Paul English and with Reverend Walker and with Marie St. Fleur maybe a month before the pandemic, to start putting together the list that we were going to chase to create the donations to make this all happen and to make part 2 happen, which is that research center. And then the pandemic. And then the next thing, and I got a little distracted by that, and the next thing I remember was Amari and Marie and the gang hitting the $10 million mark in the middle of a pandemic and basically having a plan to get to 20. And I have to say, that's a really amazing accomplishment, and it bodes well for the future of not just this site, but also the work that is going to be done as part of this full memorial to Martin Luther King and to Coretta Scott King. Now, they were obviously no strangers to Boston. Coretta Scott King was a student at the Boston Conservatory when Martin Luther King was a student at Boston University, and if you've read her memoir, actually the first time I really learned to appreciate the determination and the steely-eyed effort to get something done was listening to her tell the story of him chasing her. Because she really wasn't sure this is what she wanted to do. And he just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. And eventually, his charm and his wit and his vision and his commitment and his passion, but especially his perseverance, won her over. And I think in some ways, This is a challenge and a journey in which perseverance, above almost all else, is a requisite to get from the beginning to the end. And I think in some ways the speech that he gave over there 57 years ago, this month, 1965, 22,000 people. The mile of marchers from a playground in Roxbury to that bandstand in the rain to make their point heard about the fact that the time had come for radical change, not just here in Boston, but across the Commonwealth and throughout the country. And the fact that this is a direct sight line from that very special and important moment here in the Commonwealth, once again, is a beautiful statement about what this is all about, what it represents in the history and the opportunity and the possibility that it represents going forward. Now, there's a lot left to do, there's no question about that, but I do have to say that at no point in time in our state's history have we ever had 2 black women and 2 black men running 4 of our most important state institutions. We got Criscal Cornegay running Mass Housing. We have Chief Justice Kim Budd running our Supreme Judicial Court. We have Ken Turner running the Mass Life Science Center. We've got Dan Rivera running Mass Development. There's progress, there's possibility, but I'm coming back to that third P, which is perseverance. This is the sort of thing that requires everybody to embrace the notion that every day, if you're not moving forward, you're moving back. And I really do hope this memorial and all it stands for and the work that will be done by the center going forward will be there as a constant reminder to all of us of all that's left to be done and why it's so important that it be done here in the Commonwealth and here in the city of Boston. Once again, we need to be that shining city on a hill that sends a message to everybody else that the time has come for something very different. God bless you all, and Amari, congratulations to you. I have to go to another meeting, so I have to run. Thank you.
The governor had to run, and he forgot he was supposed to introduce Marie. So,
I go way back with Representative Marie St. Fleur, and she has always been someone who has striven to give to her community in many different ways, privately, quietly, personally, and publicly, and is one of the architects of this very special moment and this huge opportunity for us. I just want to say how much, on behalf of the people of Massachusetts, we appreciate the heart and soul that you threw into this. Thank you. Thank you.
This is such joy. You have no idea how much joy. Do we feel the joy? Yes. And I want to start off by saying thank you to Paul, because you know what? I grew up in Upham's Corner. I'm still in Upham's Corner, and we don't always have the resources to be able to say, let's have this dream and execute. But we need people who want to really see what's possible and then be willing to step forward and say, I'm here, count me in, and actually do something. So thank you. Thank you for your willingness to do that. And it really helped us. I want to say that I want to thank Kate Gedge, because I got connected with this because of Kate Gedge at the Boston Foundation. And I don't know where Kate is, but she had a little quiet dinner with me one day and said, Marie, you really want to think about this? And I am so grateful. I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for the team at the Boston Foundation that really supported our efforts as we got this going. Reverend Liz, now you want to call her young mama? Well, I mean, she, friend, mentor, I love her, and she's just so amazing and was really very supportive. And so thank you, Liz, right? And then at the end of the day, I want to thank the city employees who helped us make this a reality, because we needed that support, and the team in the city who helped make that support. And I also want to thank, honestly, the community. Because you know what? That's where it started. The thing I loved most about what Paul did was he said, yep, here's the money, but listen, let's hear what the people want. Because usually it's the other way around. We're told what we need. And so he was willing to do it the other way around. And so I thank every members of the community from Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, South Boston, wherever you came, but West Roxbury, they got involved. They got involved. They came on winter, cold winter. They came in and met in rooms to tell and share what they want this to be, what their vision was for this memorial. And at the end of the day, we were able to listen. Right? And I want to thank Coretta Scott King, whose birthday we celebrate today. It isn't so wonderful that we're celebrating on the birthday of this woman who really taught us about love. Love for her husband, love for her family, love for community. The kind of love that we don't talk about anymore. Love that requires sacrifice. Not that, night pansy type of love. No. Love that requires to put some work into it. Right? That's what it requires. And she taught us that, and we must continue to push that flame forward, and this embrace is going to remind us of that. So I thank the community for embracing the embrace and for giving us our instructions on how to accomplish that. I thank Hank Willis, that young man. I don't know where he is right now, but thank you, because you know what? He took all of that. It resonated, and he produced something that respected the integrity of this park, because we love this park too in Upham's Corner. We love this park, and it's our park too, and we wanted to see ourselves in this park, and they helped create something that allowed for that. So I want to say that, I want to say that through the leadership of Amari, bridges to economic prosperity is going to be built in our neighborhood, because it's really about respecting the agency of the people in these communities. We're not all poor, we're not all broke, we all have possibilities. And we need to remember that there's more to us than that. And what I love about this project is that it really pulled us and helped us understand what our possibilities are. Because, if the folks that came before me didn't rely on what was possible and got stuck on what it is, we never would have been able to accomplish all that we've been able to accomplish. And that's what this really represents that today. So I love the fact that there's going to be this economic opportunity. So I am grateful to have been part of this wonderful journey. And I say that to all of you. I see many people in the room who were part of this from the very beginning when it wasn't so popular. So folks, remember, permitting process the governor talks about, not an easy process, but you all stood with us. You all wrote letters. You all showed up at meetings. And I want to thank the people who stepped up. I want to thank Liz. I don't know where the Friends of the Public Gardens are, but they stepped up and helped us move this process along. So I want to say thank you so much for helping opening so many doors. And I want to thank the investors who stepped forward, who got us going. And I see some of them sitting in this room today. All of us want to have leave a little footprint in the sands of time. We really do. We want to be able to look and say, you know what? I left a little piece of me here. We've done that today. This is a relay race. The baton was passed to us, and it's being passed to that next generation. This is a relay race about who we want to be in this country, who we want to be in this city. And it's up to us, and it's not just words, it's action. So I thank you for allowing us to plant this footprint right here in the middle of the oldest public park in America. Because someday I'm going to walk with my grandchild right here in this park, and I'm going to say this happened here. So thank you.
Honored to be before you again. Donny Hathaway's One Day We'll All Be Free. as it spins around. Just don't let the spin get you down. Things are moving fast. Hold on tight and you will last. Keep your self-respect, your manly pride. Get yourself in gear, keep your stride. Never mind, no fear. 'Cause brighter days will soon be here. Take it from me, someday we'll all be free. Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Dillon. Oh, I know. I know one day, I know one day we'll be free. I know. Never mind, no fear. Keep on walking tall. Hold your head up high. Keep your dreams right up to the sky. Sing your greatest song. And we'll keep going on. Oh, take it from me, someday we'll all be free. Yeah. Hey, just wait and see, someday we'll all be free. Yeah. Take it from me, someday we'll all be free.
Amazing. I want to do a few more thank yous. I want to thank Katie and Paul Buttonweezer, Jim and Audrey Foster, Liz Lovelace and Andrew Bielecki, Boston University, Charles River Labs, Cooley, Converse, Deloitte, Eastern Bank Foundation, Highland Partners, Liberty Mutual, the Lynch Foundation, MHS, the Packer Foundation, Robert and Artist James Foundation, the State Street Foundation, the Chiefs and Commissioners, Elliot Ortega, Nelson, Idawu, Goodfellow, Woods, Freeze, and their teams. But without further ado, I want to introduce two of our co-founders. These people are extraordinary visionaries, thought leaders, and they have quietly, strategically leveraged their whole selves, their families, to transform our city and our country in so many ways. It's my pleasure to introduce my friends, Damon and Kia Martin.
My wife Kia, sitting in the front row, wasn't actually supposed to be here today because of a family matter. But I have a wife that always shows up, and I love you for that. The first song that we heard today by Sam Cooke, done so beautifully. Sam Cooke was soulful, but also prophetic. When he said, "There's been times that I thought I couldn't last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on." It's been a long time coming, and I know a change is going to come. That's where we are right now. We're incredibly thankful for the enormous public and private partnership that it took to have this all come to fruition. As philanthropists, Key and I invested in this effort together because we wanted our two children to have symbols that constantly remind them that this Boston is their Boston. That this is home, that they can thrive here, that this is a place that they will love and grow. Symbols are essential to our society to inspire, but also remind us of the work that we need to do. While we'll marvel at the art, we can't forget about the action. If we simply celebrate the symbol and don't do a better job of feeding the hungry, of providing enhanced education and economic opportunities for Black and brown people, then we failed. We failed at the very thing that Dr. King and Mrs. King strive for. They worked for, and Dr. King died for. We stand here and acknowledge the sad and ugly past that this very city, that this very city tolerated. While at the same time, we look for the future that is so bright. Striving for a community that has love and respect for all people, regardless of race, regardless of gender or sexual orientation. Well past the time that the Black Lives Matters banners come down and the yard signs are a distant memory, when the natural selfishness of humanity wants to rear its head, this memorial will stand on the common as a symbol that people right here in this new chapter of Boston's history will stand together and echo the sentiments of Rosa Parks when she said on her 77th birthday, "I would like to be known as a person who is concerned about freedom and equity and justice and prosperity for all people." And I just ask that you join me and join us in making that a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Damon. They say this MC thing is really easy, but Damon also forgot to introduce the next person. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Y'all needed some comedy relief, some levity in this, and so I'm here to bring it. I'm not going to do it justice. I'm not going to do the introduction justice, but it's an honor for me to introduce our U.S. Attorney, Rachel Rollins.
Thank you so much. Today we're here to celebrate love and family in Boston. And I want to yell, we're here to celebrate Black love. Because this is a love story that happened here. Without Coretta Scott King, there is no Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. that we know of. And like most great marriages and partnerships, they made each other better. So I come here today representing the federal government. as the chief law enforcement officer for this entire Commonwealth for our federal government, which was not good to the Kings. For the last 4.5 years of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's life, he was surveilled by the federal government. And you all know the stories there about what happened, but this is about change and possibility. And I am so proud to be standing here as the face of the federal government today in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, honoring Black love and this beautiful embrace. So, bringing goodwill and blessings from the Department of Justice that is led by Merrick Garland and your United States Attorney, I thank all of you for your work, and I look forward to the continued movement forward where everyone is treated with dignity and respect and given the opportunity to thrive here. Thank you.
Without further ado, I'm going to invite my friend Chris Whalen, General Manager and President of NBC 10 Boston.
So one of the great things I get to do is run NBC Sports Boston, and it's weird to see Grant Williams not physically attached to Kevin Durant. That's all he's been the last week. My man shut down one of the best scorers in the history of the sport for last week, so congratulations. So thank you, Amari. So just to as we represent the stations, we are awestruck by the opportunity to be the media partner for this amazing endeavor. And what's important to us is that this story needs to be told. There's going to be a beautiful monument here, but it's incumbent upon us to tell this story over and over and over again. And I see my competitors here, and they'll continue to tell the story as well. And I look forward to myself on your 6 o'clock news tonight with my comments here today. But the thing that I want to represent is I represent the over 275 people that work for the 4 stations, NBC 10 Boston, Telemundo, New England Cable News, and NBC Sports Boston. And I can promise you that we are going to pour our heart and soul into making sure that this moment is remembered forever, and that we continue this conversation in a way that probably hasn't happened good enough to date. So thank you. We are honored to be part of it, and I'm going to get out of your way now. So thank you very much.
I am the last speaker. And Mari bookended the preachers. He put the AME/Presbyterian in the front, and he put the Baptist preacher in the back. But it's a dangerous thing to put the Baptist preacher at the end. It is my pleasure and my honor to be a part of this moment in history. And I'm hoping that all of you, even though the sun has left us for a moment, I'm hoping that you are savoring every bit of this, because this is Boston. It is its hopes, its aspirations, and its inevitability. And it is change. I'd like to quote the woman of the hour, Coretta Scott King. Her birthday would be today. And she said, "Struggle is a never-ending process. Freedom is never really won. You earn it and win it in every generation." And our generations of leadership continue to grow and change and evolve. I watched Mariama when she stood to give her remarks. I wasn't looking at her, I was looking at her father. who was beaming with pride as she stood tall and stood strong. And I want to thank you, Mayor, for continuing to allow this new leadership to emerge and grow and evolve, because it gives me hope that we will be the beloved community that both Martin and Coretta envision. So I'm going to stop my sermon now. I'm going to close in a prayer like my colleague, but I'd like to close quoting the words that were penned by James Weldon Johnson in a song that is called Lift Every Voice and Sing. And everyone knows the first verse, but not quite the second as well. Let me close with those words. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed? We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright stars are cast. And let everyone who believes in hope say amen.
I just want to end the program by thanking a few more people and ask you to please stay to take some pictures as we break ground. Fran Coletti, Elizabeth Dobra, Joyce Faribault Bowling, Walter Fuker, Carol Fulp, Ed Gaskins, Pastor Gerald, Jody Gill, Reverend Groover, Kate Gedge, Reverend Hammond, Julia Johansson, Joyce Lenahan, Kathleen Marsh, Kevin McGovern, Governor Patrick, Seth Pearson, Pat Mitchell, Colette Phillips, Susan Rogerson, Daryl Suttles, Bianca Singh Ward, Tanisha Sullivan, Michael Weeks, Benny Wiley, Flash Wiley, and Paul Young. Not yet, yo. Not yet. We'll now take this concludes our formal programming. When you came in, you should have been given some color codes. Joelle Jaquez and Natisha Mill will help instruct to take some of those photos. Thank you so much for being here. God bless you. Have a great day.